Welcome to Storytime at the Roo Bus, a weekly podcast about Bonnaroo and other festivals. I'm your host, Sharla.
What's up, everybody? It's Daniel. I am finally happy to be back home. I have been on the road one way or another for the past month.
Yep.
I actually thought we were going to do this next to the bus or in the driveway or in the backyard, but it is more humid than Satan's butthole outside. When Charlie got home, I was like, do you actually want to do this inside where you're not sweating after like 60 seconds? And I think we were both on the same page.
I think the feels like temperature was 112 today or something.
You know, I'm usually okay with it, but like, I don't necessarily want to be on camera when I look like a roasted tomato.
I mean, no, I'm fine with humid temperatures. I thrive, but...
I mean, I like it. I just don't want to be on camera while I'm dealing with the effects of it.
True. That's very true.
What have you been up to? It's been a while since we have both been on. Thanks to Pawpaw, Josh, and J-Bone for being on last week and doing a pilot of their sports thing that they're thinking about doing. But let's catch up a bit. What have you been doing?
I've been getting caught up with work and finishing up my third semester of graduate school. So.
How's that going?
It's going.
It's going all right. Yeah, I have been crazy busy. I am very happy to be back home for a whole month now. You and I were in Chicago. I was in Florida. I was in California doing a bunch of work stuff. I kind of forgot what it was like around here. I'm getting back into my routine, going running a couple of times a week, going to the gym. Going to all these cities with great food and not being able to work out took a toll on me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was nice, but man, I'm happy to be back in the routine now. We got a month until Burning Man now. We better be getting in our routine. That's a bit about what we're going to be talking about today, right?
Yeah, that's finally when we say a podcast about Bonnaroo and other festivals.
It's finally the other festival.
Except Burning Man is not a festival.
Is it though?
If you call it a festival at Burning Man to some of these like these veteran Burning Man folks, you will get quickly told it's not a festival.
I would kind of say it is. It's just a very different kind of festival.
Well, there's no lineup.
Well, the lineup is everybody that goes. It's the friends we met along the way, literally. I would say it's not a music festival for sure. There's music there. There's a lot of cool EDM and even like bluegrass and other bands and stuff, but it's usually not going to be very many people that you've heard of.
But I will contend if you've done Bonnaroo group camping, especially if you've done one of the bigger, more hardcore groups at Bonnaroo group camping, that is the most similar thing to Burning Man.
I would agree. I have been saying that I think it is an everything festival. Anything that you want is there, from like a trampoline park, a library.
Someone said that to us one time when we were on the trampoline. I
mean, anything you want is there.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about the 3 episodes of that HBO documentary so far?
Well, so far it's been very, very different than what I expected it to be. I expected it to be, well, just hearing about it, rather. I expected it to be this, wild expose and all the Burning Man people would hate it and this, that, and the other.
That's partially true.
And it is a little bit, but it's been more of a literally just showing what it is, per se. I guess. I
think it has been showing a lot of the behind-the-scenes drama, especially in the couple of years where they had problems. I'm sure a lot of Bonnaroovians who have been going for forever will understand the similarities. Yes. You know, they had to deal with COVID and then some other things as well. They had a year back. We came that year. They showed a lot of what we saw on the 3rd episode, but it looks like the next one that they're going to show deals with the rain. We didn't have to deal with that. We didn't go, but
thankfully
we have some friends that go to one camp, the Disco Balls out of California, that were there the whole time. We talked with them a little bit about it last year when we ran into them again, and they were like, yeah, it sucked, but they made the best of it.
Now, I will say, us not being as invested in Burning Man as we are in Bonnaroo, some of that behind the scenes, what's a better word than drama?
It is drama. There's no other better word.
I was trying to think of a more professional word. Some of the bureaucracy, some of the behind the scenes bureaucracy.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I don't care about it, but
it's interesting.
I guess I'm just not as invested in that as I would be for Bonnaroo, for example.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see a very similar documentary about Bonnaroo.
I'm almost surprised at this point that there's never been some type of Bonnaroo documentary, especially after 2025.
Yeah.
Because, we had 20 and 21, with what happened in 21, especially because it got canceled like the day that the festival was supposed. Everybody was packed to leave. People were already there and boom, canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened in 2025? I'm very surprised that there hasn't been some type of Bonnaroo documentary. I made a Instagram reel, a TikTok, a little video post joking about it because that's a trendy meme right now.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And seriously, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been any type of documentary, because we've seen the Woodstock documentaries, and there was one on Astro World, et cetera, and so forth. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been anything.
I don't really see Bonnaroo giving a documentary crew the behind-the-scenes access that the Burning Man org gave the HBO documentary crew. Like,
who said they need to give them access?
Well, that's the kind of stuff that I would be interested in learning about, is like the conversations that were had, during COVID, during that hurricane that one year, during the past year when they had to come back after the rain and everything. I would be very interested to be like a fly on the wall for those kind of conversations. But I don't ever see that happening because they, under the Live Nation umbrella, they probably want very much to have like a squeaky clean image.
I'm sure.
Like,
yes.
In the Burning Man documentary, you see their CEO being just a little bit of a jerk. You see them disparaging some of their group camps. I don't think you would ever have Bonnaroo on the record saying those kind of things.
I don't know about documentaries. I've never taken part in a documentary, but reality TV, I've taken part in a lot of reality TV. And anything can be edited to make it be whatever you want.
Oh, that's very true.
And I never thought about reality TV in that way until reality TV came to my former employer, and we literally had a guy who was our like VP or whatever play. He literally acted as if he was someone working for another company.
Oh, I understand.
So like that's how fake reality TV is. So anything can be.
Is it a reality show though? I feel it's more of a documentary.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
I understand.
Just in general, anything can be edited.
I'll be honest.
You can edit this podcast.
I don't very much unless we just do something stupid.
I know you don't, but I'm saying someone could take this podcast that we're making right now.
Yeah.
And take my words completely out of context.
We've done over 250 episodes of this, so somebody could probably plug all of this into an AI and make us say things that we would never say. I hope to God no one ever does that, but the Burning Man doc, I think it showed that the org didn't really have a lot of control over what they were going to put on. Otherwise, Elon Musk's brother would never have been in that. That made them look pretty bad for him to have been basically I gave you this money, so now I'm going to tell you.
Well, I'm sure they filmed it before he was kicked off the board.
Well, that's true. Anyways.
Well, if someone ever does that, my lawyer is 1,000 years old. He has 3 fingers, and his phone number is 4 digits. So.
Ask her about that in person. That's something I've said a number of times on this podcast. That's when I'm like, yeah, we'll tell you in person, but I'm never going to put that on the record. Anyways, the Burning Man doc, I am enjoying it. I think especially episode 3 is very reflective of what we saw there. So if you guys have HBO Max, Go, whatever the heck it is these days, if you're interested in Burning Man, I do think while it does show a lot of the behind the scenes drama that you may not really care about, I think episode 3 in particular is really reflective of the real experience there if you want to learn more about that. Now, today we're going to dig into some of these supplies that I think people need to know about. It could be helpful at Bonnaroo, but I think these are the things that are a little bit different than the supplies that you would have at Bonnaroo that you would need at Burning Man. But before we jump into that, you said you had a couple of questions that some of our friends, viewers, listeners, whoever had sent in asking about Burning Man, right?
Sure. So someone wanted to know basically about the gifting economy. And they said, when you do another Burning Man episode, can you address the gift economy of Burning Man and how you guys contribute as just a couple without a big group? That's one thing that still boggles my mind, how you can just take stuff from camps that are offering and they don't expect anything back. You still want to contribute.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of misconception about the gifting economy, it's not necessarily a one-on-one trade. It's more of just an overall contribution. So a lot of camps give out drinks, for example, or they'll give out food. They'll have, we're serving food on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to until noon.
Which doesn't mean that that's going to happen at that time.
Well, yeah, we're going to do waffles. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a better example. There's one of our favorite camps. They're called Kentucky Fried, like KFC. I can't remember what it stands for something.
They're from Louisville, but they're doing a parody of like
Colonel
Sanders.
They're doing a parody. It's like a KFC parody. I can't remember their exact name. But they do fried bologna sandwiches on a certain day from like 9 a.m. to noon or something. I can't remember. And obviously it's first come, first serve or whatever. So when you go and you get your fried bologna sandwich and a shot of bourbon, you don't have to give them something in exchange for that. They're contributing that for all of Burning Man. So you, in turn, your group that you're part of is contributing something for Burning Man. Or you as an individual, you're contributing something. So this person was asking about how we do it as a couple. So something that we might do, we might volunteer a shift at the gate. I
do want to do that this year.
Okay, we might do a volunteer shift at the gate or at Antarctica. That's where you can buy ice, which is the only thing you can buy there. Or something you can do if you can't volunteer. There's lots and lots of little things you can do as an individual. Take a moop bag, matter out of place moop, and just take that around with you and always be mooping. Always pick up little things of trash as you go. Pick that up.
ABM.
Take chapstick around. Chapstick goes so far. And just, oh, hey, I got some extra chapstick. Do you need that? Little tiny things like that. Obviously, trinkets are kind of,
I would say that's actually a little frowned upon.
A little frowned upon. I was going to say frowned upon.
Trinkets can easily become moot.
Right.
And they take that very seriously. They don't want to leave things laying around. I think I mentioned this on another pod before, but I have seen people get chewed out for just having like feathers out of their fit. Like fly onto the ground.
Feathers are a big no-no there. So you don't really want to do extra plastic if you can help it, but things like necessary items, items that you really need, like chapstick and things like that. If you have extra Band-Aids, something like that that's necessary, you can take that and kind of give those out when you see people need those.
I think there is kind of like an unspoken rule at Burning Man that if you were kind of doing like free camp or whatever they call it when we are camped in the outer edges and are not part of like a bigger group, you're not necessarily expected to do like a ton, just like little things for friends as you come across them throughout the day. So chapstick is a good example. I saw one guy last time, I think, he woke up in the morning, he put on the top of a tux and not much underneath and was just walking around like, here, you want a piece of bacon? Like it's kind of like a pay it forward kind of thing. If you were in part of a big camp, then yeah, it's kind of like an unspoken rule that they expect you to do something pretty darn cool and pretty big. But if you're just on your own, it's just little things.
You know, something else, a gift doesn't have to be a physical item. If you see someone setting up their tent, go help them out. Yeah. And that can be your gift. You know, if you see someone struggling with their bike, go help them out. You can give a hug, go give out hugs for your gift. Things like that. It doesn't have to be a physical item per se.
Maybe we could like hand out some strawberries. You made me think of that because you gave our nephew some strawberries the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that. That'd be a cool little thing at Burning Man. Just go in our little radius, like, here, you want some fruit? Put a little toothpick in it here.
I'll be honest, the first year we went, we had I won't say we didn't have any idea what we were doing because we did a lot of research on it. But we were a little bit clueless. We tried to take a box and do like a confession thing and all that. And we put our box facing toward a group, and the group that kind of adopted us a little bit, he was like, hey, so if you want to do something like this is cool, but this looks like it's private. You always want to point something toward the road. And he was kind of helping us out and telling us how to do it. So that kind of didn't really go over too well. So yeah, just kind of things like that.
I have a real-time pitch for you for the two things that I want to do this year.
Okay.
So, like, it's just me and you this year. We had another couple, Ryan and Jordan, go with us last time. It's just me and you again. I have long wanted to do something that's mobile on my bike because I think we see far more people on our bikes when we drive around than at our camp on the edges of things. So Originally, I had this crazy idea that I wanted to set up like a DJ booth on the handlebars. I never could figure out a way to do that. It was going to be too much work. Me and Brooklyn had this crazy idea years ago that we were going to do some kind of like ice cream truck thing on a bike and like hand out things out of a cooler. That was going to be a lot of work. Remember, we're driving across the country and we're cramming everything into the back of Charlotte's VW. So here's my pitch. I still want to do the mobile things on a bike, right? What if we strapped the confession box to the handlebars of a bike? So when we meet people, when we're looking at art, you're like, hey, take off a Post-it note, write something crazy, put it in here.
I'll think about it.
Yeah. Also, the other half, part 2 of what I want to do is my gift is like, I love telling people stories. So like, I always ask burners the same question that I ask like old and new friends at Bonnaroo. Tell me something good that's happened for you. It does a lot for me because it gives me a lot of positivity to hear about like what's happened in other people's lives. Plus, it's always a good icebreaker. So I want to like strap like a tell me your story thing, like a sign to the front of the bike. And I was like, hey, if you're cool with being on camera, you always want to ask consent at Burning Man. Can you just like in 60 seconds tell me something cool that happened for you this year? And I'll tell them I have a thing I put on YouTube. I'm going to put it on that. We did kind of an audio version of that last time, and that went over pretty good. So check our archives. You can find that on there. But those are my 2 pitches for you for our gift for this year, telling people stories.
Let me think about it because a lot of people aren't cool with being on camera.
Yeah, we could do it audio like I did last time, but this is a work in progress.
Yeah,
This
work
is
in progress.
This is what we're figuring out for our gift, but it's going to be some version of telling people stories, whether they want it to be anonymous or if they're cool with being on camera.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just give them the option, maybe.
We'll see. We'll
figure this out.
We'll think about it.
What was the other question? You said we had another one.
So we had a question about logistics of when you arrive. So can you talk about that? What happens when you arrive at Burning Man?
So let me back up. So our last leg, we drive in from Vegas, and it's about an 8-hour ride from Vegas up to North Nevada. And it's, I'm going to be honest, the toughest stretch because there's not that much to see other than the Area 51 rest stop that we talked about last week or the week before last. By the time we get to Fallon and what's the name of the other town? I can't remember. We go to the last truck stop. I smash a Celsius, any last supplies that we need, and then it's 1 more hour till you get to Black Rock City. By the time we have gotten there the past 2 times, the sun is starting to set. By the time we get parked at where we're going to be, it's dark. So that has been a little tough. It's one of those like, please forgive me for what I said while setting up the tent situations.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got into a fight last year.
Whatever. When you're married this long, it just happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a little tough. So like, it's different if you camp with a group. It's very similar to how it would be at Bonnaroo. You come in, they're probably going to tell you where to park. They're going to tell you some of, their ground rules and everything. They'll probably assist you. When you're on your own, like us, you're on your own. There's probably going to be a new friend that's going to, check in on you like, hey, you guys need a hand? Welcome to Burning Man, all that kind of stuff. But you got to figure out like, okay, which way do we want our camp to go? Because you got to think about which way the sun's going to come up in the morning and be baking you then. You got to think about which way the wind's going to be going. There's like whole graphs for this. Burning Man people have gotten this down to like a science because most of them are from Silicon Valley. They know a thing or two about some nerdy things like that. Heck, let's go ahead and get to this. I got a pile of supplies that we're going to go through. I might as well start with this. So in this box, if you're watching on YouTube, I have a couple of things that I have ready to go once we get there that is for setting up our camp. I talked about this already, but these things are the screw-in stakes that I was telling you.
So in that last episode of the Burning Man documentary, the Army veteran who was going for his first time, did you see the stakes that he was using for his tent?
I noticed that, and I'm a little worried about that guy because he was using like regular like stakes that come with like a Walmart tent. And as somebody that was in the military, I feel like he should have known better than that.
I was very, very surprised that they showed that on the documentary, I don't know why they showed it. Like that was, clearly he made it.
Yeah. He had a good time. He was in an enclosed camp, which may have helped a tiny bit, but I don't see it helping that much.
But yeah.
But these things are a necessity.
Okay, so, either this or rebarb.
I think for me and you, this is plenty enough. It's when you have a giant structure that you need the rebar.
Right.
If you are just going on your own, these are going to be the trick.
Both the times that we went, we've used these and we've never had an issue. Now, the very first year that we went, Daniel posted, "Hey, will these be okay?" in some Burning Man group, and he got laughed out of town.
But I've been just fine.
We've never had an issue with these.
I mean, okay, look. So let me point this out. So you probably saw me digging in this little box here just a second ago. Make sure that you get a kit that comes with one of these. This is the adapter that goes into the drill. So you will need, a battery-powered drill. We got one years ago for, I think, $30 on Amazon. We've used it twice at Burning Man. It does the trick. This attachment goes into it to go on here to drill this thing in. And you do want it to go all the way in. That's about, 6-7 inches, something like that. But anyway, that will get the job done for just 2 easy ups in a tent, like what we're doing. Excuse me, I'm 12 years old. I apologize. The other thing is this year we got some of these. It might be a little hard to tell the scale on camera if you're watching on YouTube. Actually, here's another one where I can kind of compare. Yeah. So these are usually the clips that you're using at Bonnaroo to put your tapestries on, your easy up, to just hang it up and make it look cool. These are industrial strength ones.
I've never seen one.
I got a half dozen of these that are going to attach the mesh things that I talked about. And we'll do another one of these, and I'll show you as we're actually testing this stuff out before too long. I just wanted to kind of show
binder clips.
Yeah, binder clips. And you can buy these giant ones. This will do a lot better job in the winds. And that's what these things are really protecting you against, is the crazy wind that can and probably will happen there. So when you're setting up your tent and anything that you have, if it's small enough, like what we're talking about, you got to have these things. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of problems. It is a must-have. And that is the biggest thing about setting up. Yeah, you can largely, I would say 2/3 of what you're going to set up is very similar to what you would have at Bonnaroo. But you got to have things like this that are going to protect you from the elements there that are very different at Black Rock City than they are on the farm. Again, what do you got there?
Giant binder clip.
Yeah, that's going to help a lot this year. But also setting up is also very similar to how it would be at Roo. You want to make friends with your neighbor. It helps if you've got a little gift or a beer to give them. The next thing for me is after I know okay, cool, we're good, we got everything, we're getting on our bike and going.
Right.
Another thing I do real quick is I take the back tires off just for travel purposes, and I throw them in the back of the car. So I got to put those on, make sure that those are secure. The bike chains are oiled up. That only takes about 20 minutes, and then we're good to go. So yeah, we get there by sundown, but by 9 o'clock, our kind of ritual has been we're going to the man to see what it looks like this year and checking out some art on the way.
Okay, but you didn't go over the logistics of when you arrive.
Yeah, I did. We get there about sundown. I'll tell you a little bit more about actually, I know what you're getting at. Yeah. So when you get in there, you go down this little country road that's just 2 lanes. You turn off onto the playa, playa, whatever. And even if you arrive on Monday evening like we do, when it's a low traffic time, you're still going to be sitting in line for roughly 2 hours, give or take. Because it's a lot. They set up a giant city. It's different than Bonnaroo. The security is a little different. They're going to take a little bit more time. You go through 3 different levels, not necessarily a security, but there's one, you can see it on the Burning Man documentary. There's a greeter. That's kind of the thing that we want to volunteer for. It's just hey, is it your first time here? You have to, be baptized in the dirt. You got to go roll around if it's your first. Your aversion to the dirt, no more.
When you come in, you'll get a sticker for the year. You can put that on your cooler or hide it away in your butthole. But no, when you come in, you will get a sticker. They will ask you, do you have enough food and water for how many people are in your vehicle?
They'll kind of eyeball it.
Yeah,
make sure
they will eyeball it and make sure. They will check your vehicle, but I wouldn't say that the search is as intense as it is at Bonnaroo, because your vehicle is most likely going to be so packed down that they're not going to be able to get in there and search through everything.
It's kind of on an honor system.
Right.
Now, if they see something that's obvious and stupid, they're going to turn you around. For example, you're not supposed to have high-powered e-bikes there anymore.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they had a post about that a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
So they will turn you away if they see something stupid that you're not supposed to have.
There's actually a couple different checkpoints, if I remember correctly.
3 or 4.
Yeah, there's a few different checkpoints.
It's more of they're checking to see that you're actually capable of surviving.
Right. It's more about survival.
Yeah. Because, it says on your ticket, you could die if you don't do this right.
So how do you come in and get your spot?
Well, when we come in, I think last year we figured out the way to do this. We turn left as soon as you get to like kind of the clock of Black Rock City. And you have to look at a map of this, and I may or may not edit it in for you to look.
So we camp in open camp.
Yeah.
And we already know where that's at.
The outer two rings. And I think about like 7:30-ish is where we were last time.
Right.
Something like that.
The first year we went, we camped around 4:15. And the last time we went, I knew I wanted to camp around 7:30-ish because I knew that those were the more happening areas.
Yeah, it was.
I guess. And so we turned left instead of turning right. So we just went all the way to where we knew we wanted to camp. And we went in there and we asked around before we picked out a spot.
That's important.
Is anyone camping here? Does anyone have this area? And no one had picked out that spot. So.
Yeah. I would say that's another important thing is like drive around until you see an area that looks open enough in the outer two rings. You can even go further than that if you want, but why would you?
There's no, like they don't line you up like they do at Bonnaroo.
Yeah. You got to find it on your own.
You find it on your own.
And if you come in relatively late like we do, it's not a complicated process, but it takes just a little time to find the right spot.
And there's no limit to how big your spot can be. It's on an honor system. So in other words, don't be a jackass about the space that you use. Be reasonable. If you come in with one car, don't try to take up the space for 17 RVs, obviously.
I mean, that's going to get encroached on by the time the weekend people come in
Right.
for the actual burn. But if you're just doing like, I don't want to call it a part-time experience, but a shorter experience like we do, you probably do want to camp on the outer edges because it's easier to get out by the time you leave before the actual burn. And listen, I know this is going to be a controversial take for some people. I prefer leaving before the actual burn. I do not want to deal with the exodus. Just Google the Burning Man exodus and look at those pictures and you'll see why I do not want to deal with it. But I think that explains the entry thing, right?
Yes.
Anything you would add to that? All right, let's dig through these other supplies. So this is something that you got for our totem recipients this year. You want to tell them what this is?
Sure. It is a solar fan.
Anything solar is going to do wonders for you there.
If I can open it.
Well, this thing obviously charges from solar energy. Well, don't worry about it. But you can get a light and a bit of a fan out of that. I think this was just what, like $20? Something like that. I am not going to tell you specific brands for these things because that would go against the ethos of Burning Man.
It would.
That would be about modification. Yeah, there you go. So you open that sucker up. And listen, you're not going to see many cloudy days at Burning Man, so you're going to get plenty of solar energy. Something else I want to recommend. I bought one of these when we thought we were going to have an ice storm here in North Alabama back in January or February. Again, I'm not telling you the brand, but you can find these where you can find these. You know where online. And I want to say I paid about like $40 for this battery bank, and I charged it up before we thought we were going to have an ice storm. It never came. I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep that for Burning Man. But then later, I realized you can buy these compatible solar panels that go with it. And I have 2 of these now.
Wait, we got 2 of these too.
Yep. So forget the actual plug is in here somewhere. There it is, DC in. So if I leave this sitting out at Black Rock City where it's sunny and hot, by the time it gets dark and we come home, I've got juice to charge the phone or whatever.
We're not going to tell you the brand, but it's the #1 on that one website.
I had the brand pointed out if you're watching the video.
And this thing is incredible.
Yeah, I tested it out at Bonnaroo with that silly box thing that I had behind the bus, and it worked incredible. That was mainly the purpose of that box thing, was just to test out some stuff that... No, I made a mess with that. I apologize. But it was to test out some of this stuff for Burning Man, and it worked wonderfully.
Yeah.
I do want to get to some of these other things here in just a moment, but since we haven't been on in a hot minute, we need to thank our Patreons.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys again. I think you already know the deal. We had a fantastic year with Totem. We had the 6 scholarship people come in, had a great time. I need to have them on the podcast before too long. So if any of you 3 that were new this year are watching this, expect a message from me in the next month or so. We'll probably do it after Burning Man, after we get back. You know the deal, totemfnd.org. If you want to pitch in, you can find us at patreon.com/Rebus. And sometime here in the next 2 weeks, we should do another exclusive episode for them.
Okay.
We had some fun stuff before I start all that travel. Can you go through the names for us this
Sure.
week?
I
mate?
do apologize, guys. I have a little bit of drainage, so. Oops, sorry. Okay. Pocket Dog Sam, The Winters, Danny, Lauren, John, Akash, Britt, Ryan, Courtney, David, Jordan, Alyssa, Imani, Bradley, Jared, Olivia, Claire, John, Lexi, Danny, Lisa, Buttercrew Nick, Delaney, John, Brady, I Am Rave Dad, Casey with Texas Road Crew, Christy, Jums, David and Aurora, String Bean, Zach and Jeremy, Amber, JB,
J-Bone.
Sam, Austin, James, Hygiene Queen, Chris and Shy, Dan, Ernst, Harris, Keith, Casey, Perry, Nick, Maddie, Bruce, Andrew, Kent,
Oh, we got to go to page 2 now. God.
Randy, Papa Josh, Bosco, Eric and Ben, Evan, Chloe, and Sean. I can't believe we had to go to page 2. That is wild.
Well, Patreon kind of changed their format a little bit.
Still, though.
Yeah. Hey, so I always like to do shout outs to the couple of people that are our Patreons. Jums did not come see us, even though he was just a few miles away. I got a bone to pick with him. I love him anyways. Also, Nick, Love Circle is taking off. I see that they have some shows. So look up the band Love Circle. I think many of you saw their totem floating around. Some of the other guys in his
I think
band.
that's a different Nick.
No, that's Nick McGilly is in Love Circle. That's his band. Unless I am totally mistaken.
That is.
Yeah. I was going to say.
No, then there must be 2 Nicks.
There is another Nick. Yeah.
Okay,
there's also Buttercrew
That's
Nick.
what I was thinking.
But no,
My
Love
bad.
Circle is going places. Look those guys up. If you're in the Michigan, Detroit area, I think they're having some shows. Find them on Instagram. Big supporter of Rue-grown bands. I think their first show ever was at Bonnaroo the year before last.
That's cool.
And I love those guys. So thank you, Love Circle. Look forward to seeing more stuff from you guys soon. Another shout out that I will give to anybody here in the Madison County area. Get in touch with me and Sharla if you'd like to do something fun for Halloween. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. She knows what I'm talking about. If you're in the area, if you're within driving distance, save the date for Halloween and message me and Sharla. We'll tell you more. Okay, anyways, let's get back to Burning Man stuff. So I picked this out of our pile too. So my mom, bless her heart, knows what we're up to with all of our crazy shenanigans. So she has given us a number of these for Christmas over the years. So they Velcro this thing out or unzip it. How the heck does this work?
No.
These are always a little complicated. You do it.
Actually, yes, maybe.
Yeah, I think we do.
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want to take it apart unless you just have to. Yeah.
So this is full of first aid supplies. I am not. Wow, look, there's a knife in there. I took that to Bonnaroo and there was a knife. Shame on me.
Oh no. You can have a.
This is full of like Band-Aids, gauze, like all kind of stuff that you would need.
Well,
that needs batteries.
Yeah.
That needs batteries. If you find yourself in a bit of a pickle, I'm not going to name names, but we had 1 or 2 campers at our group camp this past year where we had to dig out some Band-Aids or other things to help them out. So I'm glad we did have this. Anything and everything can happen at Burning Man, so you need to think a little bit more even about having these kind of things. You never know what's going to happen. You might like trip on something that somebody's got drilled into the ground and it's going to cut your foot up. And there are some emergency support services there, but for the large part, you might need to expect that you're going to be on your own.
Right.
So having this stuff handy at your camp or maybe even on your bike is, I think, kind of an essential because you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere. You're going to be about an hour and a half at minimum from the closest small town. So if the worst should happen, you need to make sure that you're prepared.
So can I do a side note?
Yeah.
All right, so we found out just like a couple of weeks ago, Daniel's mom used to live right down the road from Wakan,
Oh, yeah.
the music
And
festival.
we
of
stayed
Wakan.
there on
Yeah.
the way to Burning Man.
I had no idea.
We didn't know. I mean, she's moved now.
Yeah,
We
she
didn't know-
moved back home.
We didn't know until after the fact. All right, last thing I'm going to show on this episode. I'm not going to undo this, but you guys probably have seen one of these and know what it is. This is a pop-up garbage can.
Yeah.
So we have not had one of these the past 2 times, and I regretted not having it because you have to pack out all of your own garbage. So we just had like a garbage bag or 2 just laying there in our camp. And if wasn't the best
Yeah,
idea.
so there's no trash services at Burning Man.
You got to take it with you.
Take everything with you.
So that's something that you got to think ahead about as well. It's like, okay, how can you come in with the absolute minimum amount of trash? So like reusing cups is a big deal. Those cups that they handed out in our gift package for Bonnaroo, like what, 4 years ago, we've used those. Something that I'll give you a pro tip. Print out a copy of your state issued ID with your birth date on it and tape it to the side of your reusable cup, because Nevada is pretty strict about checking for ages, and all the camps that give out drinks will always check for that.
Yes. Okay. So yes and no on that, because I don't know how it was in 2025, but when we went in 2024, some of the camps did not accept that printed out copy. They wanted the real ID.
A few.
Well, there was a lot of them.
I kept it on me though.
Yes. So that's, yeah. But anyways, yes, what a lot of people will do, what we do is we print out our ID, our driver's license, and tape it to the cup. You'll want a cup with a handle on it so you can just clip it on a carabiner to your backpack or to your bike, whatever.
That'll do it. All right, so that was the pile that I had today. I mainly wanted to show the stuff that I feel is a little different than Bonnaroo. Obviously, these things would be great at Bonnaroo, but I think they are more of a necessity at Burning Man than they are at Bonnaroo. I think we'll do one more of these episodes just to prep, and maybe we'll talk about the last episode of the documentary and everything. But, you know, I saw some people joking on the Bonnaroo Reddit a while back that, like, at a certain point, once you've been a Bonnaroovian for a decade, you kind of graduate into a burner. And I think that's actually been true for a lot of people. It's just like the natural evolution. You get tired, like, oh, I'm tired of all this corporate stuff. And you want to go to like the antithesis of that.
Right.
And it's in Black Rock City. I highly encourage everybody to do it once, one of these days, whether it be this year or in the future, if you've ever been curious about it. I do think it's worth the hike. I think it's worth spending a little bit extra to go to this to experience it for yourself. I think it is probably the granddaddy of them all when it comes to like large scale gatherings of like our people, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, you got like Rue and Glastonbury and Coachella. Like, those are cool. Like, obviously we love Bonnaroo to death. I'd love to see Glastonbury one of these days, but they're like just a couple of select lanes. Burning Man is many lanes, all lanes. Anything that you could possibly want to do is there, like we alluded to. So I do think it's worth going to at least once. Even if you go and decide, yeah, that was cool, but I'm not going back and it wasn't for me. At least you tried it, you know?
I will say, if you're thinking about going to Burning Man, if you're like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Burning Man, you cannot base anything on what you see on Instagram or what you see on TikTok or social media, whatever. Do not base it on that. Do not just look up Burning Man outfits. And I know, I know me personally, that's the first thing I would think to do. Would be like, oh, I want to get my cute fits and I want to look good and da-da-da-da. You can't do that because that's not what it is. That's literally not what it is, especially with all the AI and that kind of crap that we have in today's world. You can't look that up because if you think that's what it is, you're going to be highly disappointed. You're going to have to go to the website and you're going to have to start there and start researching it from there. You're going to have to dive into, they've got the camp listing out now. You're going to have to go to those camps and look up their Instagrams and look up their social media and look up their websites and find out what it's really about and start connecting with real burners that way. And that's how you're going to find out what it's really about and start reading these guides on the website. I mean, you need to read that website like there's going to be a final exam on it.
Yeah, I do think you need to know that as far as like the survival tips and everything. But I will say, as far as like the culture and the vibe, I don't think you can necessarily completely understand it until you've been there for a day or two, to be honest.
And something else, the first year that we went, I think the first half of it, I think I had a little bit of a culture shock. And I think that, I'll be honest, even that whole first year, I think I thought people were a little bit rude and kind of off-putting. And I don't know, it was this California attitude, I guess, this Silicon Valley attitude, I guess. But then once I kind of understood the snark, kind of understood it a little bit better and kind of got with the flow of it, I got feeling a little bit better about it.
It does take a bit to get used to.
It takes a bit to get used to, I guess. 2024, when we went, I had the time of my life. Like, I loved it. And something else, you know, you may look at these supplies that Daniel was showing and think, oh my God, I could never live with just that tiny little fan or that tiny little power supply. Daniel and I, we don't go to set at the camp. Do not find us sitting at the camp. I mean, maybe for a little bit when we wake up or, you know, we're there to sleep, but we're not sitting at the camp.
I do like chill a little bit when it's too hot.
Well, yeah.
But that's about it.
I mean, we get there and we're taking off on our bikes. You know, we're exploring. We're going all over the place. I mean, that's the whole purpose for us. So definitely, if you want to go, research it, but you have to research it properly and correctly.
Mm-hmm. The main thing I would encourage you to research is survival, because I mean, yeah, they do provide porta potties, but that's about it. The rest of it's on you.
That is it.
Yeah.
And you got to bring your one ply toilet paper too.
There's been toilet paper in there, but I do like to bring her on.
No,
okay.
That's what I said. You have to bring your toilet paper. It has to be one ply. You can't bring 2-ply toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's plenty enough for this week. I think we got a lot coming. I mean, it's not going to be just Burning Man stuff until we go. I'm putting together a panel here in the next week or two. I want to talk to a lot of Bonnaroovians about, like, okay, we've had time to let it settle in. What did we think? But mainly, where do we go next? Where do we as a community want Bonnaroo to go in the next, like, not just the next year, but the next couple of years? I'm starting to get a couple of people together for that panel. I don't know if it's going to be next week. It might be another week or two. But look forward to that. Patreons, I'm making it a goal to get you an episode here in the next week or two as well. I'm going to get Brooklyn back on. She's got a lot going on. Me and her and her boyfriend and some other folks are going to go see Spider-Man this weekend. So maybe we'll do a little review or something. But yes, a lot is coming up. And then at the end of this coming month, there will be some form of video coming your way from the road trip to Burning Man and Burning Man itself. I haven't quite figured out how we want to do that just yet, but there will be something. So yeah, that'll be fun. That's it for me for this week.
Do you have anything else, Daniel?
Yes, tacos and some more of the new King of the Hill episodes.
That sounds great.
That does sound great. All right, we will see you guys next week. Get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you soon.
Bye.